she passed away from her injuries. Also, video released of the suspect wearing a mustard-colored sweatshirt and a very distinctive walk. Police have now said that there is an arrest, is what we're hearing. We're going to hear details from the scene from police as they tell us who this person might be. And I guess what everyone's asking, why someone would attack a woman randomly in this way in a popular neighborhood, or really any neighborhood, let's be honest and fair about that, would attack someone in such a brutal way for apparently no reason at all.
The victim was 35-year-old Wendy Martinez. She lived in that area. She was an avid runner. Her parents have made a statement. They were there at the scene last night, but they came out and said that, she was dedicated to her job. She was everything a daughter should be, that you would want. This is the surveillance video that Maureen was referring to of the suspect with that specific walk. There is, originally the word was that there was possibly 3 suspects, and then Chief Newsham cleared that up yesterday afternoon in a press conference, saying that people were it was 8 o'clock at night, right? There were a lot of people in the area and that people were running from the scene. They ended up narrowing it down and saying that there was just 1 suspect, and we are hearing word that that suspect is in custody. Both Chief Newsham and the mayor are going to update. Meanwhile, as this is all going on, we are also monitoring what is being reported as a multiple shooting in Aberdeen. The governor of Maryland tweeting about that, calling it horrific. This is what we know at this point. 1600 Perryman Road. There is quite a bit of police activity, ATF, FBI, all on the scene, and that there's a large Clark's warehouse in that area.
We do know, you mentioned that the FBI and ATF are headed to the scene. Our crews are heading there as well. We don't know exactly what led to this. We don't know the number of injuries, but we are hearing multiple injuries from this scene. From the tweets that are going out, it's obviously something very significant. The governor, as Holly just said, tweeting out his concerns, his condolences for what's happening. They don't know the nature of the injuries that these victims have sustained, how many people they might be looking for. Are multiple gunmen, 1 gunman? We just don't know at this time. We're hoping to get more information as it does continue to come out. But what you're looking at right now is the tweet that the governor sent out not too long ago. Obviously, you can see the severity of this. Multiple victims, perhaps, from the shooting at a Clorox warehouse. As you said, near some businesses. We don't know what other businesses are there, how densely populated this area is, if it's perhaps in a warehouse park, where it is mostly just businesses here and there and no homes, if there's a school nearby, if it's on lockdown. These are all issues that we're trying to get answers to right now. But the police activity there happening, very serious situation. Our crews headed there, police headed there. As we get information, we're trying to share it.
We also don't know if this is an active shooter situation, where it's a scene that is, still live, and what's going on, the search that's going in and around, if the area is in lockdown. So a lot of questions, obviously, but we do know that there has been a multiple shooting in the Aberdeen area, which is just north of Baltimore, and the first call coming in at about 9:09 this morning.
Yeah, that's right. And, you mentioned we don't know if this is an active shooter event, because their latest tweet did say that the situation is still fluid. There are reports out there that this remains an active situation. Of course, you want to avoid the area as well. 1500 Perryman Road near the Clorox warehouse. Police out there, I'm sure, directing traffic, redirecting traffic. Expect delays and and a lot of activity out that way. But they did confirm multiple shooting victims, and it's still unclear exactly the condition of these victims as well.
We are monitoring that. We want to take you back here now to D.C., where we've been waiting for the mayor. And in fact, she's about to talk about the arrest and the murder
Muriel
of the
Bowser.
jogger.
I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C. I'm joined by Peter Newsham, the chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, Councilmember Jack Evans, to provide a briefing on the arrest in the murder of Wendy Martinez. Wendy was a D.C. resident, a jogger, and a proud resident of Washington, D.C., a member of our community. She was senselessly murdered near where we stand at 11th and P Streets Northwest on Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. While people acted quickly, including our emergency responders, to try to help Wendy, she succumbed to her injuries. Wendy's murder has been devastating to her family and friends, people in this neighborhood, and it's certainly damaging to all of our senses of safety.
Locking it up.
I want to thank MPD, our detectives and officers, for
Egyptian
their
haircut.
quick investigation of this crime.
Like
I want to let you know that MPD made an arrest last night, and we feel very confident that we have in our custody the person responsible for this murder. I want to turn to Peter Newsham to provide you more details.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Bowser. As you know, this past Tuesday, September 18th, just before 8 p.m., members of the 3rd District responded here to this carryout for the report of a stabbing victim. When they arrived, they found 35-year-old Wendy Martinez suffering from life-threatening stab wounds. She was being tended to by members of the public, including a nurse from our community. DC Fire and EMS responded. They transported Wendy to a local hospital where she was pronounced dead. What we have learned from our investigation at this point is that Wendy, who was known as an avid runner, was jogging westbound on P Street. When she arrived at this intersection at 11th and P, the suspect was at the intersection and stabbed her. We believe that there was only one person involved in the assault. We do not have any information to suggest that Wendy knew or had any association with the suspect in this case. We also do not have any information at this point to suggest that it was a robbery. So the motive in this case right now is unknown. Yesterday morning, we released surveillance video showing a person of interest in the case. A combination of information that we received from our 3rd District patrol officers and tips from the community helped our homicide detectives establish the identification of this person of interest that was shown in the video. Homicide detectives last night searched the surrounding areas. They located this individual in a park at 14th and Girard Street Northwest. He was transported to the homicide division for questioning. Sufficient probable cause was established, and this morning we arrested and charged 23-year-old Anthony Crawford of Northwest DC with first-degree murder while armed.
They probably just grabbed somebody.
Wendy, as most of you know, was recently engaged. She was an accomplished professional who, by all accounts, was beloved by family and friends. I cannot even begin to imagine what her fiance, what her family, what her mom, what her brother, what her friends are going through right now, and I want to extend our heartfelt condolences to this family. I also want to thank the community for their assistance.
Not only for
attempting to provide medical assistance on the scene, also by being cooperative with our detectives, responding to the homicide unit on the night of this offense, and lastly by providing the tips which were instrumental in closing this case. Also want to recognize the efforts of our 3rd District Patrol officers, our homicide unit, and in particular, Detective Alexander Vogel. We can take, I think, any questions that you all might have.
Chief, can you give us any